Shabbat shalom to the brethren. To the brethren. What up to everybody else? Hey, listen, man, if you ain't heard this new Emanon thing, man, listen. Go to SoundCloud, check him out, like, subscribe to his channel. I'm gonna be back in a second, man. I'm gonna let y'all get a taste of this thing, man. Let's get a taste of this thing, man.
The Lord shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. Of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Abba only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay. Set apart, you know that. Covered like a flowman. You can never steal this treasure. That's on no jack. Torah hidden in my heart with the Basora. Shabbat approaching, sun down like the menorah. I've been patiently waiting, making righteous moves. Life and death is the choice, and you got a right to choose. You got a right to the tree of life and the living water. Y'all got a plan to come and rescue all the sons and daughters righteous men. I'm off of social media, I need a break. Social distance from sin, I keep it safe. Down into the waters with my eyes open. Before I hit the waters, I was wide open. Come up out the waters, the sky open. Riding back to Texas, my mind focused. All day supplications, they never cease. I face facts and I face the end. Look back to you right now. We live. Just back to you right now. You are the that fall. We look back to you right now. And we will return. Bring us back to you right now. You are days as of old. Hated on the low, murdered by the popo. Treated unfairly while the world still your mojo. Tears in my breath, praying for guidance as I walk in the room full of cold-hearted staff. Weight heavy on me, feel the pressure, put time in the scriptures. Go extra. Folks say they know the word, but don't live it. But if you knew better, you do better. I give all praises to the Most High, cause he said it. Yeah, he picked up this reprobate mind, and he changed it. Let the world say whatever they want, it don't faze me. I was mentally enslaved, locked down, I was caged in, set apart. Now I'm living toward, got a clean slate. Drove home in between states, in a dream state. 12 tribes, one nation. No, it's not a cult. In season, out of season, who needs so?
Back to you at night. Back to you at night.
My heart is stirred with a good word. Speak my verses to the king. My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer. Abba Yah, a consuming fire, and he made me a fighter. Overturn the tables of the money changers. These sheep hear his voice and ignore the stranger. Man don't live by bread alone. Fighting giants, fire smooth stones. Picked up my Bible, put that phone down. Ruach in my Ruach, yeah, it's on now. Put time in the scriptures, going extra. Set apart the modes, kingdom goes forever. Yahweh shall answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must be created me. A clean heart, O Yah, and renew a right spirit within me. Alright. I was in the darkness, I see the light. Now I know the truth, I'm an Israelite. Not bragging, but had to change my status up. No longer falling, now I'm standing up. Yeah, eyes on him, but jumping in his sight. He'll come much quicker, we start landing up. Follow the orders, given to the seed planted. Only one surface where you deem family. Separate from this world might seem strange, but set forth the mouth. We need change. Iron sharpens iron. You need a friend. I'm here to listen, but I can't condemn. I walk a different path from most. Why fake around the truth? I give it to go. If I go back to my old ways, I ride for your name. And if I don't make it, still ride the same. Not ashamed on the death. Get with me in the valley. Gotta stay girded up because enemy protect me. Yeah. Keep your people through these trials and tribulations. Working out our soul salvation. Fair trip. Created me a clean heart, oh yeah. And renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Create in me a clean heart. Create in me. I just want to take time to say I'm grateful for your mercy, though the rest of the world is hateful. Had to take a break from writing my thoughts on paper, mainly because people I love say that what I'm saying is hateful. Lately, I have seen my people at the worst that they could ever be. Sit them down, tell them that we from a royal pedigree. Tell them that we under the curses, now they upset and cursing. Saying God knows my heart, you acting like you perfect. Nah, I'm getting better with time. Cause it get real when you walk in at night. Pray for strength in these moments. Remember all them times when I couldn't stand. Now I'm drinking living waters. I'm a different man. Used to operate in the flesh. Yeah, I was weak. Yahweh shot straight in my posture, changed my speech. Abanawa, Yahweh, they blowing the shofar. Hiding in the word, taking it so far. Yeah, creating me a clean heart, oh yeah. And renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Lay in me a clean heart.
What you think, boy?
Lay in me. Deep meditations. I'm headed home. Book of Revelation in my headphones. Listen as I'm drifting off to sleep. Let his words fill my spirit. I don't really want to speak. But you remove all living that's unseen. And all hindering thoughts cause I want my heart clean. I want my spirit renewed. In your ways I am trying. I do get tired. But I just pray I do not lose that fire. Righteous man falls 7 times. Gotta get up. Only the wicked get entangled. If you got wisdom you can see the angles. We avoid things when it comes. But in the midst of battle, we don't run. Stand firm when you facing the unrighteous. Never let up, not even in the slightest. Ministry never quits. Work that is never done. So every day is hard check 101. People created me a clean heart, oh yeah. And renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Hallelujah. Create in me a clean heart. Create in me. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness. That the man of God may be perfect and thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah. What?
That was my boy Emanon, man. Shout out to the Rack of Bar. I would have played it too, but I want to get started. You see in my playlist. Check him out too on SoundCloud, YouTube. You know, all my ox in the music game that um I got love for and care for their music, you know. But yeah, man, once again, Shabbat Shalom to the brethren. We in this thing again, finna do a reading, and you know, we'll talk about some of my opinions on the scriptures that we're gonna read. We're gonna be reading out of the book of Judges. Book of Judges, chapter 11 and chapter 12. Gonna be talking about a very rarely discussed patriarch in the scriptures. Uh, he don't get a lot of notoriety. His story is quite profound, and it may help a lot of you, a lot of us rather. I include myself. We come from uh, battered homes. You know what I'm saying? We were born and raised under circumstances that were not favorable to us. A lot of us uh, may have felt discouraged, may have felt depressed, even angry about how we grew up, about how our parents didn't work out, or you know, may have hated parents, hated our siblings, may have been abused, may have been, you know, thought of as being unimportant. But here we have a story of a person that came from something like that, who ended up being quite important, who ended up being quite influential. But when you listen to this story, I want you to think about how the morals of this person, the character of this person that made them important, not just because they so called deserved it from some kind of heritage or birthright. If anything, by all accounts, he didn't deserve it on those accounts. But it was the morality, it was the understanding, it was the fortitude and the ferociousness and the honor of this person that caused them to be worthy of all the great things that were bestowed upon them. But anyway, let's get into it. Shalom to all of those viewing. I can't see your comments on Facebook or YouTube. I will check them when I'm finished with the podcast. But let's get into it. Uh, Book of Judges, chapter 11. Now, Jephthah of Gilead was a great warrior. He was the son of Gilead, but his mother was a prostitute. This is what I was talking about having a unfavorable upbringing, a childhood. Here it was the custom of our people to have two-parent homes and to have parents who are well thought of. Here you have a man whose father was a great leader, a great warrior, who had a child with a prostitute. That was something looked down upon by our people. Gilead's wife, see, the boy's daddy was married. And Gilead's wife also had several sons. Now. Gilead's wife also had several sons. And when these half brothers grew up, they chased Jephthah off the land. You will not get any of our father's inheritance, they said, for you are the son of a prostitute. So you already know these are all Negroes, right? And you know how people are in school, how we joke, how we make fun. We talk about your name, we talk about how you look, how you dress. But one of the main things that we do that cause a lot of fights is you talk about somebody's mama. You talk about somebody's mama in Yasharal, them fighting words. So here you have a brother whose mother has a reproach for being a prostitute, right? His father is renowned. His father was the leader of the people, but his mother was a prostitute. Here you have his siblings, you know, uh, 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 taunting him. So Jephthah fled from his brothers. and lived in the land of Tob. Soon he had a band of worthless rebels following him. This is the thing about a leader. A leader gonna lead no matter where he's at, no matter where he find himself. Those that are lesser than him will pick him to lead them. So they didn't want him to lead where he was out of jealousy and fearfulness, right? But the leader in him, the character in him, caused him to be a leader where he ran off to. Soon he had a band of worthless rebels following him. True, they worthless rebels, but how good was these sons? You know, how good were they? At about this time, the Ammonites began their war against Israel. When the Ammonites attacked, the elders of Gilead sent for Jephthah. Now, mind you, this ain't all happened overnight. He didn't get the band of worthless rebels to follow him overnight, right? A period of time passed, enough time to where these children, these half brothers, became elders in Gilead, right? Let's go back. When the Ammonites attacked, the elders of Gilead sent for Jephthah in the land of Tob. The elders said, "Come and be our commander. Help us fight the Ammonites." Ain't that something? The same ones that talk bad about you, act like you ain't nothing, you ain't this, they end up having to come back around for some help. That's why you don't burn bridges, you know. You never know when you might have to cross them again. But Jephthah, not Jephthah, Jephthah said to them, "Aren't you the ones who hated me and drove me from my father's house? Why do you come to me now when you're in trouble?" "Because we need you," the elders replied. "If you lead us in the battle against the Ammonites, we will make you ruler over all the people." See, this is the thing that you have to understand when you read this. They didn't just now figure out the kind of a man he was. They didn't just now figure out that he's the type of person to lead the people. They knew it when they was young. They saw it in him when he was young. And you know what? They feared it. They just used the fact of his mother being a prostitute to be the way to get him out the way. And they thought they was the kind of men to be able to lead. They was the kind of men to be feared, but they wasn't. Nobody could take your place. If they could take your place, it wouldn't be your place. It'd be theirs. Learn this from Jephthah. And neither can we take others' places. What the Most High got for us is going to be ours no matter what. So you don't have to take. The Most High gives. He takes from the unworthy and gives it to the worthy. All right? Pay attention to the story of Jephthah. I might be talking about you. "Because we need you," the elders replied. "If you lead us into battle against the Ammonites, we will make you ruler over all the people of Gilead." Jephthah said to the rulers, "Let me get this straight. If I come with you, and if," I'm just going to read it how it say, you know, for all those that may be not of the understanding of the words or agree in changing them. I'm just going to, you know, do it for the people. "And if the Lord gives me victory over the Ammonites, will you really make me ruler over all the people?" "The Lord is our witness," the elders replied. "We promise to do whatever you say." So Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him their ruler and commander of the army at Mizpah. In the presence of the Lord. Jephthah repeated what he had said to the elders. Then Jephthah sent messengers to the king of Ammon, asking, "Why have you come out to fight against my land?" See, you know, people be wanting high positions, right? People want to be the high position, right? The high position he got, he was the ruler and commander, right? And everything that came with that power, money, got all the women he want to get, right? All the, you know what I'm saying? We got some, we got some pretty looking women in Yasharal. He got his pick on them, or the single ones that is, you know. But see, he don't want just that. Those are trinkets that come with it. But the real task is at hand is the battle. So he got straight to the work. He said, then after he was confirmed, after he was put in place, he went to work. A lot of us want positions, but we ain't ready to get to the work of it. We ain't ready to get to the, as they say, to the nitty gritty, right? Sometimes you got to get down and dirty with this thing. So he's finding out, you know, what I got to do. So he sent, then Jephthah sent messengers to the king of Ammon asking, "Why have you come out to fight against my land?" The king of Ammon answered Jephthah's messengers, "When the Israelites came out of Egypt, they stole my land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River and all the way to Jordan. Now then, give back the land peaceably." Now, this is another thing. Unless a person, a scary, fearful person, not trusting in the Most High Yah, not trusting in righteousness, not holding to righteousness, even in the face of death, would have given this man back this land. Because apparently the king of Ammon is such a person that it put fear in the hearts of Gilead, that they had to go search out and find somebody they don't even want to deal with to come up against him. So here you have this mighty ruler, this mighty king saying, "Listen, we ain't even got to fight. Just give me, just give me my land back. Just compromise on your morals and your values and give me my land back and everything will be all right." But Jephthah sent this message back to the king, to the Ammonite king. This is what Jephthah says: "Israel did not steal any land from Moab or Ammon." Mind you, these are cousins. These are Lot's children. You know, they kinfolk, but they fighting, about to fight anyway. When the people of Israel arrived at Kadesh on their journey from Egypt after crossing the Red Sea, they sent messengers to the king of Edom asking for permission to pass through his land, but their request was denied. Then they asked the king of Moab for similar permission, but he wouldn't let them pass through either. So the people of Israel stayed in Kadesh. Finally, they went around Edom and Moab through the wilderness. Mind you, these people are all related. The Edomites are related to them. Moab is related to them, right? And they came out of Egypt and asked these people just to go through their land, not for money, not for, you know what I'm saying, any kind of help. Just let us go through here without no problem. And they all turned it down. Edom turned it down. Moab, Ammon, they all turned it down. Finally, they went around Edom and Moab through the wilderness. See, that's another reason it took so long. People act like it's just because they just was super wicked, but they also met resistance. They traveled along Moab's eastern border and camped on the other side of Arnon River. It's like, when construction going on and all you have to do is go straight and you can get to your destination in a couple minutes. But instead of going straight, they got the road blocked off. You got to go all the way around, and it's going to take you 20 minutes to an hour now, 30 minutes to an hour now to get to where you're going instead of a couple minutes. Edom and Moab is the reason for this. They the roadblock. They traveled along Moab's eastern border and camped on the other side of the Arnon River, but they never once crossed the Arnon River into Moab, for the Arnon was the border of Moab. See how people was honorable, at least to a certain degree, Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon of the Amorites, but they was honorable because they had honorable leaders, When the ruler is righteous, the people will be righteous. Who ruled from Heshbon, asking for permission to cross through his land to get their destination. But King Sihon didn't trust Israel to pass through his land. Instead, he mobilized his army at Jahaz, and attacked them. But the Lord, the God of Israel, gave his people victory over King Sihon. So Israel took control of all the land of the Amorites who lived in that region, from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River, and from the eastern wilderness to the Jordan. So you see, it was the Lord, the God of Israel, who took away the land from the Amorites and gave it to Israel. Why then should we give it back to you? So to answer his question about, not even a question, his command to be like, well, look, you give me my land back and we don't have to go to war. They're like, look, well, he accused them of stealing. Then he said, if you give it back, we'll be cool. And so you see, it was the Most High God that gave us this land. So why should we give it back to you? And then he told him, look, this is the kicker. You keep whatever God Kemash gives you, and we will keep whatever the Lord our God gives us. Hallelujah. That's what I'm talking about. This our people, man. Our people talk like this. Are you any better than Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he try to make a case against Israel for disputed land? Did he go to war against them? Israel has been living here for 300 years. People don't talk about this time frame, right? This is from the time they came out of the wilderness. They was 300 years in this land, inhabiting Heshbon and its surrounding settlements, all the way to Aurora and its settlements, and in all the towns along the Arnon River. Why have you made no effort to recover it before now? Hey, man, we've been here 300 years. You ain't said nothing. Why you rising up now? He rising up now because the Most High got times where he want to, award his children and approve his children. It's the time of Jephthah. Time for him to prove himself. So he raised up an adversary for him to be proven by. Therefore, I have not sinned against you. Rather, you have wronged me by attacking me. Let the Lord, who is judge, decide today which of us is right, Israel or Ammon. But the king of Ammon paid no attention to Jephthah's message. At that time, the spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah. Now, mind you, this is the son of a prostitute. Now, you let some of these elders today, some of these, camp leader mores or whatever, they'll tell you this ain't even biblical. They say it's the son of a prostitute. This man is, pretty much unclean, born of an unclean bed and all this, and the Most High don't deal with him. He ain't gonna deal with his mama and all this. So you gotta understand, the Most High looks upon the heart and the intentions of a man. This child who became a man was a child of honor, regardless of the circumstances in which he was born. He put on the clothing of righteousness. You know, he's not wearing foreign garments. Obviously not, because the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. He had to have been found clean for the Most High to dwell within him. That's why I want to bring this out, man. We need to realize that it ain't about birthrights. It ain't about, you know, what it looked like. Because for all intents and purposes, this man was supposed to have been a castaway. He's supposed to have been a beggar or somewhere. But because of his inward parts, because of his character, because of his, seeking after righteousness, the Most High dealt with this man. And you're going to see just how his character is. Character is proven, tried in the fire. It's sweet now, but it's going to come time where it's a little rough, to where he going to have, a chance to compromise. Anyway, continue. And we went through the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah and in Gilead. And from there, he led an army against the Amorites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. He said, if you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give to the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. You got to watch what you let out your mouth, okay? So Jephthah led his army against the Ammonites, and the Lord gave him victory. He crushed the Ammonites, devastating about 20 towns from Aroer to an area near Minit, and as far away as Abel Karamim. In this way, Israel defeated the Ammonites. When Jephthah returned home to Mizpah, his daughter came out to meet him, playing on a tambourine and dancing for joy. Now, let's go back. When Jephthah returned home, remember he said, if you give me this victory, I will give the Lord whatever comes out of my house to meet me when I return in triumph. I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering. So when he returned home, his daughter came out to meet him, playing on a tambourine and dancing for joy. She was his one and only child. He had no other sons or daughters. See, you want to talk about the son of a prostitute, what he is and what he ain't. But it's about what's on his inside. And his inside is holding fast to what he let come out of his mouth. When he saw her, he tore his clothes in anguish. My daughter, oh my daughter, he cried out, you have completely destroyed me. You've brought disaster on me. For I have made a vow to the Lord, and I cannot take it back. Some of y'all just lying just to be lying. Saying stuff just to be saying stuff. And she said, but see, listen though, man. This is how you know he's a righteous man. Look how he raising his daughter. However old his daughter is, she apparently was a young maiden or whatever, right? So she ain't no child, right? So he didn't raise her in the kind of a way that she would think and have the courage to say something like this. And she said, Father, if you have made a vow to the Lord, you must do to me what you have vowed. For the Lord has given you a great victory over your enemies, the Ammonites. But first, let me do this one thing. Let me go up and roam the hills and weep with my friends for 2 months, because I will die a virgin. You may go, Jephthah said. And he sent her away for 2 months. She and her friends went into the hills and wept because she would never have any children. When she returned home, her father kept the vow he had made, and she died a virgin. So it has become a custom in Israel for young Israelite women to go away for 4 days each year to lament for the fate of Jephthah's daughter. Why ain't they teaching y'all about Jephthah's daughter? You know, you want to talk about submissiveness. This is submissiveness unto death. How could, our women today would read this story, and would fantasize about being able to submit like this. But many of them can't submit to their husband. You get what I'm saying? Like, we got to understand that this thing's about this walk, that doctrine ain't gonna get you to this point. These are things that have to be resolved within one's own self, within one's own heart. People want to argue about frivolous stuff. Do you got these kind of characteristics? If you the father, or if you the child in this scenario, do you got what it takes to be able to do this? Miss me with that folly, man. Arguing over trivial stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Get out of here with that. Miss me with that. If you ain't helping people be able to get these kind of characteristics to move like this. Anyway, continuing. Judges chapter 12. Then the people of Ephraim mobilized an army and crossed over the river Jordan to Zephon. They sent this message to Jephthah. Why didn't you call for us to help you against the Ammonites? We are going to burn down your house with you in it. See, this is just like our people too. You know, this is something niggas say. Because they said, why you didn't call for us to help against the Ammonites? Mind you, what stopped them from finding the battle? You think they didn't know it was a battle going on? You think they didn't know exactly where this battle was happening at? So now they want to act brand new. Why didn't you call for us to help you fight? Niggas will do this. Niggas will be like, why ain't you call me? Because you ain't the kind of nigga to call. And 9 times out of 10, I did call you and you still ain't come. Jephthah replied, I summoned you at the beginning of the dispute, but you refused to come. You failed to help us in our struggle against Ammon. So when I realized you weren't coming, I risked my life and went to battle without you. And the Lord gave me victory over the Ammonites. So why have you now come to fight against me? Think about this, man. Our people, something else. What they mad about is that They mad that he succeeded. Guess what they mad about? If he would have lost, they wouldn't have had nothing to say. But the fact that he won without them. Now Ephraim is I think he's the leader. I think Ephraim was given birthright. I could be wrong. So Matt, it's like Big Brother. It ain't really the Big Brother. The real Big Brother is Reuben, I want to say. But Reuben lost his birthright. Right? So I think it fell to Ephraim or something like that. I think I could be wrong. But anyway, point is, man, they mad because they won. They expected them to lose. And the fact that they won, now they offended. They creating a lie to try to take out their frustrations. You know people like this. You know people just like these Ephraimites. You know people just like that. Listen, the people of Ephraim responded, "You men of Gilead are nothing more than fugitives from Ephraim and Manasseh." Basically, they saying you supposed to be up under us. You going off and fighting your own battles without us. You know people like this. You know people like this. They too selfish to help you. And they so wicked, they don't even want you to succeed without their help. They don't want to give you help to succeed, and they don't want you to succeed without their help. You know people like this. You know, mind you, Jephthah comes from this, even from a child. You know, he wanted to be with his brothers, but his brothers rejected him. Same thing that's going on now. He want to be with his other tribesmen, but they rejected him. And you know what happens? He succeeds without them. When the Most High is for you, who can be against you? That's how you got to think in these trials of adversity. But you got to make sure he for you, though. You got to do what he say. You don't do what he say, he not rocking with you. Jephthah did what he said, what he commanded of a man to be. You know why he did it too, though? Because he was taught. He had to have been taught. His father, Gilead, had to have taught him. Just like he turned around and taught his daughter righteousness. So Jephthah gathered all the men of Gilead and attacked the men of Ephraim and defeated them. Jephthah captured the shallow crossings of the Jordan River. And whenever a fugitive from Ephraim tried to go back across, the men of Gilead would challenge him, "Are you a member of the tribe of Ephraim?" They would ask. If the man said, "No, I'm not." Now, you know this is our people. In certain parts of town, if they catch you over there on foot, they're going to be like, "Where you from? Where you from? Who you know over here? What you doing over here?" Same thing. Our people ain't changed, man. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They would tell him to say Shibboleth. If he was from Ephraim, he would say Sibboleth, because people from Ephraim cannot pronounce the word correctly. Then they would take him and kill him at the shallow crossings of the Jordan. In all, 42,000 Ephraimites were killed at that time. Jephthah judged Israel for 6 years. That's crazy. He had a short range. Judged Israel for 6 years. When he died, he was buried in one of the towns of Gilead. After Jephthah died, Isban from Bethlehem judged Israel. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters. Let me ask you, you think he had 30 sons and 30 daughters with one woman? All you people talking about uh polygyny is a sin, it's a whoremonger spirit, and it ain't supposed to be. Do you think he had 60 children with one woman? No, he did. He sent his daughters to marry men outside his clan, and he brought in 30 young women from outside his clan to marry his sons. Ibzan judged Israel for 7 years. When he died, he was buried at Bethlehem. After Ibzan died, Elon from the tribe of Zebulun judged Israel for 10 years. When he died, he was buried at Ajalon in Zebulun. After Elon died, Abdon, son of Hillel from Pirathon, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons. Think he had 30 sons with one woman? And 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys. He judged Israel for 8 years. When he died, he was buried at Pirathon in Ephraim, in the hill country of the Amalekites. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, there we go. You know, it's the story of Jephthah, the book of Judges. Man, I hope y'all got something out of that thing. I hope you liked it, enjoyed it. You know, share, please. Like, share, comment. You know, work on the algorithm so it can get out to the people, man. You know. Well, yeah, man. Shabbat shalom to the brethren. All praise to the Most High. Y'all, it's 12 tribes, one nation.